Good afternoon and welcome to the Study Abroad 101 webinar. We're very happy to have you join us. My name is Kim Burton and I'm the Director of the Education Abroad program here. And I'm joined by my colleagues, Sabrina Kaiser, who's one of our amazing Study Abroad advisors, and our outstanding office manager, Sherry Leibovich, who's providing technical support for us this afternoon. So thank you both, much appreciated. We're going to turn our cameras off so that you can focus on the slides and on the conversation, and then we will be back with you on camera for the question and answer part of the session. So our goals for the webinar this afternoon is we want to give you a basic overview of why study abroad is important for our students. We want to share the different program opportunities that students have here, and also explain how we support students in study abroad from the start to the very end of their experience. And there will be time at the end of the webinar to answer your questions, so you can type them in any time during the webinar or at the end in the Q&A button that you should see on your screen. Once we're done, we hope you will feel confident in the importance of the experience and also in how we support our students so that you will encourage your son or daughter to study abroad while they are at UC San Diego. The session is being recorded and will be posted to our website if you want to review it later on, or if you want to share it with another parent or someone else who may want to view it. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about the value of study abroad. Why is study abroad important for our students? It's a wonderful accomplishment for your son or daughter to already be a student at UC San Diego, and they should be congratulated. But we also feel that study abroad is an important component of our students' education, and it's important for them to leave UC San Diego for a bit of time to experience education elsewhere. We know that from study abroad, our students develop skills and enhance their knowledge to better prepare them for a global career. So that can be whether they are working here in the United States, but they may be working with a group of people who are international, or they may work virtually with people in other countries, or whether they are actually have an opportunity to go and work abroad, whether it's for a long period of time or in spurts, depending on if their employer wants to send them to a particular location. So that global career piece is very important for our students. And we know that study abroad can increase job and career opportunities. We hear from our colleagues over at Career Services that current employers are looking for graduates with intercultural competencies, communication skills. Are graduates able to interact and work with people from different backgrounds and across cultures? Does the applicant know another language, or are they able to demonstrate they can learn another language? Do they already have facility with a language? Is very important for employers. That graduates are shown adaptability and initiative. Again, can they work in a different setting outside of the United States? And then that they have awareness of global economic and political issues. We know that our students gain a new perspective on their academic discipline while they're earning credit toward their UCSD degree. So for example, they may in a classroom be exploring solutions to global issues from a non-US perspective. And that's going to give them an edge with employers, that different perspective to share on the job. And this also may include experiences such as internships or research opportunities. So again, it's one thing to have an internship here in the United States or to do research here in the States, but when you can talk about, I did research in a lab that was made up of people from all over the world, or of Japanese scholars, if it's one focus, I was able to communicate in that language. I was able to understand their culture and interact with them appropriately. Those are all very valuable skills for employers. We also know that our students are challenging themselves to step outside of their comfort zone, and they do gain a lot of personal growth and development through this experience. So independence, problem solving, having to figure out the metro system in Madrid, or having to talk with someone to get out of a particular issue that they're having, maybe with their rent, with the landlord. So just learning about what they can do, and also developing confidence and taking risks. And hopefully you've noticed some of this in your students as they've transitioned to UC San Diego. But now when we put them in a completely different country and culture, the growth is really phenomenal. It is true that only 10% of U.S. undergraduates currently study abroad, and so your student will stand out with employers and graduate and professional schools if they have this experience. And we do hear back from our alums and our recent graduates that interviewers often ask students about their study abroad experience. Here at UC San Diego, we send about 1,000 students abroad each year, which equals about 20% of any graduating class. So we are ahead of the national average, but we would like to be even further ahead. We also surveyed our study abroad alumni a few years ago and went all the way back to our participants from 1962 all the way to the present, and we got some very valuable data back from them. 40% of them stated that study abroad helps them obtain their first job after college. 50% stated that study abroad influenced their choice of career. And 93% of them reported that the cross-cultural skills they learned abroad were professionally valuable. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about what we do in our office to help students take advantage of these amazing experiences. We have 3 major options under which our students study, and I'm not going to talk about them because Sabrina is going to walk you through those programs in just a minute. Within those programs, there are a number of different models. So there are programs where students can go and just take coursework, much the same way they do here at UC San Diego, or they can go and do just an internship or just a research experience. Or there are programs that are a combination of the two, where they can take courses and also do an internship or complete research while they're abroad. There are also different program types. So on some of our programs, students will take courses designed just for UC San Diego students or just for UC students. In other models, students can take courses with international students at a university abroad. And then we also have programs where students can actually be immersed with host university students and international students at a university abroad. Here in the office, we provide advising for students by academic discipline and by a destination. So for example, if your son or daughter is a psychology major and they wanted to come in and meet with Sabrina about opportunities for psychology majors, then that is information that she can share with them and help them decipher. Or if your student has been studying French and they know that they've always wanted to go to France and they want to work on their language and that's where they're going, then they would come in and see me about opportunities in France. So whichever way that works best for the student, and or both, we can meet with them. We also provide assistance for students with the various program applications, so the forms themselves, letters of recommendation, for example, how to get faculty to write them, and then also with academic advising and academic planning for study abroad, and Sabrina's going to talk about that in a minute as well. Our students are able to use financial aid for study abroad. In fact, most of our study abroad students do receive aid for study abroad. And we do have a part-time financial aid advisor in our office who is designated to work with study abroad students to help them. And again, Sabrina will be talking about both financial aid and study abroad scholarships shortly. And then we also help our students on the pre-departure side. So once they've been selected and they're getting ready to go on their program, they have the opportunity to have an orientation session with our return students from the same program, for example, so they can get their questions answered. We also require students to complete an online general orientation about cultural adjustment and health and safety abroad. And then we're also able to give them information, practical information about applying for passports, visas, how to get housing abroad, etc. And then once your student comes back to UC San Diego, we're involved in helping them reintegrate to campus, reintegrate to US culture, and then start thinking about the career and job opportunities that await them. So at this point, I'm going to turn the session over to Sabrina, and she's going to walk you through the next few slides.
All right, thank you so much, Kim. So hello everybody, I'm Sabrina, and as Kim mentioned, I'm one of the advisors here in the office. And I'm going to walk you through the nitty-gritty of kind of the different program options that we offer, as well as a few other topics. So to start off, I'll tell you first about our UC Education Abroad program. So this is our most popular program option, and it's designed for UC students specifically. So in the 2015-2016 year, we sent 576 UCSD students on EAP programs. And as Kim mentioned, we certainly want to increase that number in the coming years. So what's unique about the EAP program is that these courses that students are taking on EAP programs are going to transfer back for UC credit. And we do offer, there's 400 plus programs in 45 different countries. So students really do have an option to go to places all over the globe. There are so many different opportunities for them that we can walk them through. And sometimes we'll have a student who comes in thinking that they want to study abroad in a certain country. And then once we lay out the options for them, they actually find a program that fits better somewhere else. So we really want to work with students to walk them through everything and anything that's possible, and then help them pare that down into the option that works best for them. So as Kim mentioned, students take courses abroad with host country, international, and/or UC students. And then a lot of programs do offer internships and/or research opportunities. So the way that works is that on some programs, students would just be doing coursework. And then on some programs, students could take courses in addition to doing an internship or a research course. And then on some courses, students would just be doing an internship or a research course. So for example, in my portfolio, there's a program in Hong Kong for this coming summer that is specifically an internship program. So on that program, students are doing a full-time internship, and they're getting 10 units of academic credit. So that looks amazing on a resume, to do an internship abroad, and then also to be getting academic credit for that is pretty unique. And then for these programs, students have summer, quarter, semester, or academic year options. So some students, I think, believe that they can only go abroad fall of their junior year, and that's certainly a myth that we try to bust. So students can certainly choose from any different term, and then we can work with them to determine which term actually is going to suit them best in terms of their academic needs. We do offer programs that have courses in English. So the vast majority of programs do offer courses in English. And for a lot of them, there wouldn't be any language prerequisites. So again, sometimes we'll meet with students who say, you know, I don't speak any other languages other than English, so I have to go to an English-speaking country. And that's not necessarily true, because we do have programs in plenty of countries where the official language is in English, but they do offer courses in English, and there might not be a language prerequisite. So the student wouldn't have to know any of the official languages spoken in that country before going there, and then they could take a language course while they're there. And then in terms of eligibility requirements, so for each program there is a GPA requirement and a class level requirement. For most of our programs, they're going to fall between like a 2.5 and a 3.3 GPA requirement. So we try to make study abroad as accessible as possible to all of our students. And then for class level, again, students can generally go abroad as early as the summer after their first year, all the way up until the summer after their senior year. So there certainly are options in any different term. And then I'll talk a little bit more about financial aid and scholarships in a minute, but just so that you know, financial aid does apply in most cases, and there's a plethora of scholarships available. So I'll talk more about that. And then for on-site services, I actually did a site visit a few weeks ago to some of our programs in China and Korea, and I was able to meet with our on-site support services there that are provided through EAP. And that really provides an excellent support system for the students. So whether they have questions about academic issues, or a question about housing, or anything that they have any problem with, or if they need advice on anything that they are concerned about, they can go and ask for help from the support services on site. And when I met with them in China and Korea, they're extremely involved. They know our students really well, and it just puts the students' minds at ease when they know that they do have a support system there and they have somebody to go and talk to in the event of any issue. And then right below that, we just have the website for EAP. So if you wanted to go on the website and look into some of those program options, feel free to go in there and do some searching through the website. All right, and so now we will move on to the global seminars. So this is a different type of program that we offer. These programs are extremely unique in that it's a 5-week summer session abroad with a UCSD professor. So students on these programs are going to take 2 courses that are set, so students will know exactly which courses are offered for the coming summer, usually about 9 months in advance. And then they will get 8 units total for those 2 courses that they're taking, so they're 4 units each. And all of those courses are taught in English. One thing that's really, really great about these programs is that the class size is really small. So it's usually 15 to 28 students, which means that the students get to know each other really well. They get a lot of one-on-one attention from their professor. So here at UCSD, a student might be in a class where it's a lecture hall of, let's say, 150 students. And an opportunity like a global seminar gives them the chance to have a smaller class size and really get more attention from the professor, which is fantastic. And then on those programs, students can complete graduation requirements, and some do actually offer courses that work for college general ed requirements. And so there's really a wide variety of destinations and topics that students can choose from. And just to give you an example of a couple that we're offering this summer, there is a history program in Mexico City, and the title of that one is Mexicans and Mexican Americans in Revolution and Resistance. And then we have another one in natural science. That one's in Geneva, excuse me, and that's called Geology in Geneva. So we have 18 different programs running this summer. And each summer there might be some that are repeated, and then there are usually a few that are new. So those are really great opportunities for students to take a class that has a very small class size, and they can study a wide variety of topics in a lot of different destinations abroad. And as I mentioned, the one-on-one interaction with the UCSD professor is a great thing. That's definitely a perk of this program. And we've had students who have then come back to work in the lab for that professor, or they've used that professor for a letter of recommendation in the future. So those relationships that are formed can really be extremely beneficial in the future as well. And then the students are traveling and studying and living with other UCSD students. So because it is a small group, they do become kind of like a close-knit family by the end of it. And I know a lot of the students who do global seminar programs will come back and then maintain that network with their classmates from that program. And again, there are on-site support services provided as well on GS programs. And then financial aid and scholarships are also available. Again, I'll talk more about that in just a second. And if you wanted to view the website for our global seminar opportunities, you can check out that website that's listed right there. All right, so moving right along, the third option we have is what we call Opportunities Abroad programs. So this is essentially an umbrella term for any program that is not an EAP program or a global seminar program. And this allows students to choose from a giant network of study abroad providers with options worldwide. So really, students can study, dance in Ghana or basket weaving in Taiwan. So there's an extremely wide spectrum of opportunities offered on an OAP program. And yeah, as I was saying, there's academic programs for every major, every interest, and these programs would include academic courses, research options, internships, and service learning opportunities. They do offer programs in any term, so summer, quarter, semester, academic year options. And then the way this would work is that students would earn transfer credit, and that transfer credit can fulfill major, minor, college, or general ed requirements. Again, there's on-site support offered through the different providers through our OAP programs, and financial aid and scholarships would also be available. So for OAP, students who haven't found a program through EAP or a global seminar that really meets their academic needs or suits their interest, OAP OAP programs kind of opens up their options quite a bit. Additionally, if a student is an out-of-state student, sometimes OAP programs can be a cheaper option than EAP. And another reason why a student might choose an OAP program is, for example, if they have a sibling or a friend who is attending Boston University, for example, let's say, and that student is going on a certain program that the UCSD student is also interested in, we want to make that program possible for them as well. So we want to get students abroad any way possible, and if it's an OAP program that works best for them, that's fantastic. So that, again, just opens up the options for students so that they can choose the program that really suits them best and that meets their interests. And so if you go on that link at the bottom of this slide, you can see all the different OAP providers that we work with, and then you can search through their website to see all the different options that they have for students. Okay, for academic planning and credit for study abroad, so certainly we want students to be graduating on time, and we do not want, we always tell students we're going to work with you to make sure that the classes you're taking are going to keep you on track to graduate in time and not delay that in any way. So all programs require that as part of the application, students complete an academic planning form. And that form is where students are going to list the courses that they want to take abroad. For each program, we can show students how to find the courses that are offered, and then students can go ahead and list the courses that they're interested in taking on that academic planning form. Then the students will take that form to meet with the advisors in their major, minor, and at their college. So this sort of acts as a pre-approval process where the advisors are then looped in. They know that the students are going abroad and they have an idea of what courses that student hopes to take. So they can then work with the student and say, okay, this course will count for elective credit within your major, or this will count for a specific course within your major, or this course might meet a GE requirement. So in that way, students are working with their advisors to be sure that they're taking courses that are going to count for requirements. And then upon return to campus, students will petition to actually use the courses to meet their degree requirements. So there's kind of a pre-approval process and then the post-approval process. What's nice about the global seminar programs is that there's no petition necessary because those just are straight UCSD courses. So that's very seamless. And then as I mentioned with the EAP programs, all of those courses will be counted as UC credit, and then with OAP, it would be transfer credit, but those courses could still count towards major, minor, or general ed requirements. So as I said, we do always make sure that the advisors are looped in so that they know that the student is going abroad. They know which term they're going abroad and they know what courses they're planning to take. So in that way, we ensure that students are meeting all their requirements and staying on track to graduate in time. All right, and then for program costs and financial aid and scholarships. So of course, a big question is always, how much is this going to cost? And we do actually, a lot of our programs have costs that are comparable to the cost of attending UCSD. We actually have a handout here in our office that lists the most affordable programs, and some of those would actually be cheaper for tuition than attending UCSD. So we have programs that are right around the same cost. We have some programs that might be a bit more expensive, and then some programs that are actually cheaper. So when a student comes in and if they have questions about finances and they want to know which programs are going to be the most affordable, we can show them that handout and kind of talk through their options in that way. And then for financial aid, there is, on the EAP programs, students can use federal, state, and UCSD aid. So all of the aid that they're receiving currently at UCSD, all of that aid is going to be transferred to their EAP program. For OAP, students would be able to use federal and state aid, but not institutional aid. So, and then also for summer programs, even though there's not specific financial aid for the summer, there are summer grants that students can apply for, and those are usually up to about $2,300. So we always encourage students to apply for those if they have financial need, and then that can be applied to a summer program. We have a part-time financial aid advisor in our office who's very, very popular. She's always very busy during her walk-in hours. Her name is Tina, and she is amazing because she actually will sit down with the students, she'll pull up their financial aid account and explain to them exactly what their financial aid package is going to look like when they go abroad. So she's really, really helpful because we can kind of give students an overview of how financial aid works with respect to being abroad, but she will actually sit down with them, pull up their account, and look at the nuances of their financial aid package. So we always encourage students to meet with her and chat through what their financial aid package is going to look like. We do award over $600,000 in study abroad scholarships every year. And we always tell students to apply for any and every scholarship that they are eligible for and then see, what comes back. So just cast a wide net and then see how many scholarships they are able to get, because we have had students who have applied for multiple scholarships and they've actually received 2 to 3 scholarships for their program. So in some cases that can actually cover most, if not all, of the cost of the program. And then we have scholarships from a variety of different funding sources. So we offer scholarships through our office. There are scholarships offered through the 6 different colleges here on campus. There are scholarships offered through EAP, and then there are national organizations that have scholarships. And on our website, there's actually a database where students can search by term, by eligibility requirements, by location, to see what scholarships are available to them and which scholarships they're eligible for, and then they can go ahead and apply. And of course, students are busy, and the idea of writing another essay or doing another application for study abroad scholarships can seem a little bit daunting. And we do have these essay writing workshops to help with that. So we tell students that if they come into those, that's a great opportunity for us to kind of help them craft an essay that could then be applied to multiple scholarship applications. So we tell them, if you write, start off with one essay, and then we can work with you and see if that could potentially be applied to other scholarship applications as well. So we definitely want to give them as much support as possible, and we, like I said, always encourage students to apply for any and every scholarship that they're eligible for, and then see what they get. All right, and with that, I will turn it back over to Kim.
Great, thanks, Sabrina. So, student health and safety abroad. This issue is of paramount importance to us here in the office, to the UC San Diego, the University of California, and all of our program providers, and I'm sure to all of you listening in as well. And so I want you to understand the network of support that exists for students while they are abroad, and how we do help them. So there is as I said, I call it a network of support, which is a combination here of the offices at UC San Diego, the University of California Office of the President, and then the program provider, so the program that your son or daughter is participating on. So here at UC San Diego, of course, if there is any kind of issue or emergency, our office would be involved in responding to that. We can call on the deans at the 6 colleges, both the academic deans, if students need help or assistance with coursework they weren't able to finish abroad, for example, or the residence life deans, if they need assistance on that side of things. We can pull in counseling and psychological services if students need that, for example. So really any office on campus that we need, registrar, financial aid to help in any kind of situation, we can do that. And they're all very supportive and ready to act and to help and to be flexible with students, is what we've learned over the years. At the UC Office of the President, obviously there are risk management officers there who we work with, and actually the UC Education Abroad program reports directly to the UC Office of the President, and so they are very well informed as to what's going on with our students abroad, at least on the EAP side of things, and are involved in supporting our students. So for example, the Office of the President contracts with an organization called IJET, And IJET is a global security monitoring operation, and they will monitor current international political, social, economic conditions and events that it could impact students abroad. And they send notices out consistently, and they will send them directly to students. So for example, in recent events in Barcelona with the vote to secede from Spain, students were getting notices from IJET saying, oh, there's going to be a demonstration in X location in Barcelona. We advise you, to stay away from that. So as much preemptive information as they can share, they will. Also, when I've been on trips, I've gotten notices simply about a transportation strike or something like that. So any and all things that can impact our students abroad, IJET will send those notices to students, which is really pretty amazing. And then with our program providers, the EAP system-wide office, they have a staff designated for health and safety support, and I'll talk about that next, as do many of our partner providers. And then we also work with our global seminar partners, and so all of them are involved in responding to crises and assisting students when something does happen abroad. So that is the network. As I mentioned, all of the major study abroad organizations now in the United States do have designated health and safety support staff here in the United States. And so that staff is doing a number of things. So they are monitoring the world situation, as I mentioned, through IJET or through the Department of State. Their information. The staffs here are often tasked with developing emergency response plans and processes, and then for sharing that information with students, for actually training the on-site staff who's there with the students as to how to implement those plans and how they would work with them in coordinating emergency efforts if there was a situation necessary to do so. And then in addition to the staff stateside, many programs have full-time in-country professional support staff. That could be a program director, could be a faculty member who's a director, administrative staff, and again, all of them are trained and are also tasked with responding and helping in emergency situations. Also, for our students, we do pre-departure and on-site orientations for them. So here, for example, in pre-departure, our students are required to watch a general online orientation about health and safety, so they get information that way. And then when students get on site, the local staff is actually orienting them even in more detail, because they all obviously have the expertise of the location because they live there, but they really give students lots of details, anything as simple as these are the neighborhoods to avoid in the city, on a day-to-day basis, or up to what we will do if there's an earthquake, or what we will do if such and such happens. So, so students are getting that information both here and after they land on site. And then in terms of insurance, there is UC Study Abroad insurance for major health issues and emergency evacuations. It's called UC TRIPS insurance, and our global seminars and OAP students will be required to enroll in UC TRIPS insurance. And that fee is covered by the Office of the President, so students are not paying extra for that insurance. And then there are also programs that have their own health travel insurance, and the Education Abroad program actually has its own EAP travel insurance, which is very similar to the UC TRIPS insurance that I just mentioned and covers the same things, but has some additional pieces as well for students that are part of the Education Abroad program. So I hope this gives you a good sense of how we do work to support students, and again, demonstrates the importance of health and safety for us across the organization. And then for when our students return to UCSD, there's a lot of support and programming that we provide for them. So there are social events so they can just meet up with one another and chat and share their experiences and share their photos. Also, we have sessions for them where they can process their experience abroad. So for many students, we find that returning to UC San Diego and returning to the United States is often a more challenging cultural adjustment than actually going to a different country and integrating into that culture. So we do have sessions where we can help students talk and unpack their experience, as we say, so that it's an easier adjustment for them. Going back to the importance of job and career development, we work with career services and offer sessions for students so they can learn how to incorporate their study abroad experience into their resume. How do they talk about their study experience in an interview? All of those pieces. And then our return students get to act as experts to help other students go abroad. So we often find that they're very enthusiastic, very emotional, and excited about their experience abroad, and they really want to share with other students and encourage them to go abroad and follow in their footsteps. We do provide assistance for our returnees with any academic issues, and these are rare, but they do come up. So if a student needs to know about how to petition a course to use for a requirement, we can help them with that. If there are questions about grades or a process or something that happened abroad, an academic issue, we're able to help them with that. So that's another area that we provide for them. And then we actually have 10 to 12 paid student assistant positions in our office every year. These are our peer advisors, and also we have students working on marketing and also our administrative students at the front desk. And so all of our student assistant positions are filled by students who studied abroad through our office, so they understand what all the issues are, what the program nuances are, et cetera, and then they're able to help other students. So they actually could come back and work here. And then, as you might expect, many students do get the travel bug, and once they've been abroad, they've been successful, and then they say, hey, this is great, I can do this, I really want to do this again. So we do have a percentage of students who do study abroad again, and some students will do 2 and even 3 experiences abroad while they're here at UC San Diego. So I'm going to turn this back over to Sabrina for a couple final issues, and then we will look at questions and answers for you.
All right, thank you, Kim. So as Kim mentioned, we have student assistants here in our office, and this is one of our wonderful student assistants named Stephanie. So Stephanie is a student who went abroad to Italy for a semester, and she now works as a front desk assistant in our office. And I chatted with her about her experience and her family's reaction to her wanting to go abroad, both before and after her experience. So she just gave me some feedback from her and then also from her father about her experience that I wanted to share. So the quote from Stephanie is, she says, "What my study abroad experience meant to me was adapting to a new culture, which meant learning a new language, adapting to a new school system, and making new friends. I had never left California for more than 2 weeks, so studying abroad allowed me to grow as a person. It was a life-changing experience, and I'm very grateful I was able to do it." And Stephanie said that her parents at first were a little bit apprehensive about her going abroad, and that's reflected somewhat in the quote from her father. So Manuel Lopez says, "Stephanie's trip to Italy gave us much joy and happiness because we knew it would be a great experience for her. Her mother and I were worried that she would be gone for such a long time, but time passed quickly, and we were happy to hear about her travels when she returned home." So, and this is actually a photo of Stephanie with her parents at the LAX airport right before she flew out for her semester abroad. So yeah, so Stephanie was sharing with us that, you know, her parents were slightly concerned about her being away for so long, and, you know, when she left, they were worried that maybe her Italian wasn't good enough for her to be able to get around. And then when she got back, they were really impressed with her, and they were happy to see that the experience had been so positive for her. So just wanted to share that, some student and family feedback for you. And then finally, we just wanted to share that you can check most study abroad program websites will have a link for parent and family resources. So on our UCSD website, you can see under the family tab, actually, there's information about general health and safety resources, and then recorded webinars. There are also resources about scholarships and financial aid. And then there's more information about the different programs that we offer, so you can click through and read all about that. And then other resources such as U.S. State Department International Travel link and things like that. So definitely check that out on our website. And then for a lot of the Opportunities Abroad programs, those providers would also have a parent or family link on their website as well, where you can learn more about their programs. We do offer a pre-departure orientation webinar for UCSD student parents and families. So that would be obviously before your student is going abroad. You can get all the information about health and safety, money matters, cultural adjustment, all that kind of stuff. So that is certainly something to tune into if your student is going abroad. And then at this point, we will take your questions. So if you want to go ahead and type your questions in the Q&A button at the top of your screen, then we will answer as many as we can. And thank you so much for listening and for participating.
Okay, so far we have 2 questions. One is, how are foreign universities selected?
Okay. Do you want me to take that, Sabrina?
Sure.
Sure. So using the Education Abroad program as an example, the system-wide office, there's a system-wide office since it is a system-wide program, and they're the ones that decide which institutions they will partner with and we will send students to. And so the university is always looking at comparable institutions in other countries, so comparable to the level of quality and reputation of the University of California, institutions throughout the world to partner with. And so, so that is how those decisions are made for the Education Abroad program. For opportunities abroad, as Sabrina mentioned, there are a number of different partners, and so our different program providers would be deciding who they're going to, which institutions they're going to partner with. And I know that they go through the same process in terms of looking for quality institutions, and also institutions that have the internal support system to welcome and successfully support American students who are studying there.
Okay, and then we have another question. Can a student take a global seminar and an EAP or OAP program later? If a scholarship and or financial aid is offered with one program, is it harder to get it the second time?
Okay, Sabrina, do you want to take that one, or?
Sure. So yes, a student can definitely do multiple programs. So we've had students who will do the global seminar program for those 5 weeks, and then that kind of whets their appetite for study abroad, and so they want to do another program, and that's definitely possible. So we do have students who go abroad for multiple programs, and as far as I know, that wouldn't affect their chances of getting a scholarship. So even if they did get a scholarship for a program that they did through global seminars, or if they did an EAP program first and then they're doing global seminars, whatever the sequence is, it shouldn't affect their chances of receiving a scholarship.
Okay. Another question, what are the types of lodging accommodations for students studying abroad?
Sure, I can take that one.
Okay.
So there are a lot of different options, and it varies by program. So for some programs, students would be living in an international student dormitory on campus. In some cases, they would have the option to do a homestay, so actually live with a local family there. And then in some cases, they might be in an apartment, either on or off campus. And then in some cases, students will opt out of housing and live with family, for example, if they have family in that country. So it really does kind of run the gamut in terms of housing options. But I would say for my programs, at least, the majority of them would be international student dorms on campus.
Okay, another question is financial aid available for summer programs, or would these be funded only by scholarships and personal contribution?
So I can take that one.
Okay.
For summer aid, so if a student's receiving financial aid here at UCSD, there isn't specific aid applied to a summer program, but there are summer grants available, and those are usually between $2,000 and $2,300. So if a student is, if they have financial need, they can apply for the grant. And then that works on a first come, first served basis. So as long as the student is financially needy, they're eligible to get that grant. They would just need to apply as soon as those grant applications are available. And then as soon as that funding runs out, then there wouldn't be any more grants available. For scholarships, there are certainly a great number of scholarships that are available for summer programs. So that's definitely an option.
And if a student does not have financial aid, are they still eligible to receive scholarships?
Yes,
Yeah.
there are certainly scholarships that are merit-based. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Kim.
No, go ahead. That's correct. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, there are definitely scholarships that the students would be eligible for through, like I said, our office, EAP, the colleges, and then national organizations. And yeah, so some of those scholarships are need-based, some are merit-based. So certainly there are options for students who aren't on financial aid as well.
Right, and sometimes students will be asked to write a statement of need, and it's not just that they qualify for financial aid, because we know a lot of students who do not, and maybe they're sort of in the middle and they need assistance. And so by writing those statements and talking about their financial need, even though they're not financial aid recipients, then we can see that students are meritorious and are often awarded based on that. So just tailing on what Sabrina was saying.
And another question, are there any academic standing requirements of the students?
In terms of qualifications for programs, I'm guessing?
Probably.
Yes, so that would vary by program. So, so for example, I think Sabrina mentioned that for the global seminar, students can go as early as sophomore year, and we have students who go all the way up to senior year and even after they've met all their requirements, but they're looking to do this as a capstone experience or maybe to do an internship or research. And so, so there's class level requirements. GPAs vary really broadly, again, depending on the program. So all of those really vary, but there are opportunities for students really at almost any level.
And how are students selected for the global seminar?
Global seminars are pretty much first come, first serve for students. So as long as they meet the criteria, they will be accepted until there are no more spaces in the program.
And when is the deadline to apply for EAP in fall 2018?
Do you want to take that, Sabrina?
Sure. So that is going to vary by country. So the earliest deadline for fall programs would be January 8th. So for some of the, yeah, so that is going to be the earliest, and then it goes all the way up until March 5th is going to be the latest deadline. So we do have a handout that kind of breaks down those deadlines by country. So if a student was interested in, 3 different countries, they could check that handout and see what those different deadlines are, and then be sure to keep that on their radar. So usually it's going to be between 6 and 9 months in advance of when they're actually leaving for their program is when they would apply.
And so far, one last question. Oh, 2 more. Will this presentation be posted on Facebook or the website? Which I think we did cover.
You want to answer that, Sherry?
It will be posted on our website on the parent tab. If you go to studyabroad.ucsd.edu, there's a tab at the top. I believe it says Parents and Family.
Yeah.
So you'll just want to click on that tab, and it will be posted there in the next couple of days. And then we have a couple other questions. Which study abroad programs are more popular with the students?
That's a good question. So, and in terms of, at least I can speak for my portfolio, our program in Korea, the summer program in Korea at Yonsei University is very, very popular. So we usually have between 50 and 70 UCSD students on that program every summer. Part of that is because of the growing interest in K-pop. A lot of our students became really interested in that. And another reason why that's so popular is because that program offers courses in a lot of different disciplines, and they have an internship component as well. So students are really drawn to that. The UK is also very popular. Our programs in Japan are very popular. And then, let's see, what else? I would say those are kind of the 3 most popular destinations. And then in terms of the program type, it'd probably be EAP is most popular, and then global seminars, and then opportunities abroad programs.
Right.
And we have another question. If your child has private insurance, do they have to take insurance that UCSD offers for studying abroad?
Okay, you want me to take this one? Sorry. So the answer is yes. And so if your child has regular, like private health insurance to attend UC San Diego, that's not going to matter. So on top of that insurance, all students going abroad need to have some kind of study abroad insurance, which includes sort of the emergency possibilities, you know, if we had to evacuate students or major medical emergency while they're abroad, something like that, that your regular coverage may or may not cover. And so, yes, that additional insurance is required. But I don't think I said it for all, but in all instances for UC Trips insurance, the Office of the President is paying for that, so you're not paying extra for it. And the EAP insurance, that travel insurance, the Office of the President and EAP is paying for it, so you're not paying extra for that insurance. But yes, all students are required to have that.
Any other questions?
No more?
No more.
Okay, great. Well, on that note, thank you all for joining us. We hope that it was helpful to you to have this overview, to get this information. We hope it gives you a better understanding of how we make study abroad happen here at UCSD, and most importantly, how we support our students in this endeavor. So we encourage you to encourage them to come in and see us if they haven't been in, and to meet with an advisor and find out what their options are. And we look forward to working with your students in the future. So thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.